Hey y'all, glad to see
Hello.
you. Thanks for joining us. Sorry we're a little late. It's all my fault because see what had happened was two things. I was sitting here talking to Babe and we kind of got into a deep discussion. And then the other thing is this is the finale and I feel kind of bad that it's your collab that the finale is on my channel, but it might end up being good in the end. So before we
No,
go too
I don't feel
far,
like that. Like that's just how
okay.
it's even how many times we host it. So
It
no.
is even no, but I think if I had been thinking about it, I would have wanted to do the second and third books on my channel. Let you have done the first
Oh,
one
the
and
first
the
and the
fourth
fourth
one.
got you.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
no, every other we just switch off.
yeah, yeah,
Got it.
yeah, yeah.
I see what you're saying. I can respect that.
Okay.
I can respect that.
Okay, you know how I'm finna roll. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
A little break. I like my intro. Just let me just tell
It's
y'all,
so
I like it.
cute. It's so
It is
cute.
just cute. Okay, so we are here. Hi Pat. Hi Vina. Did you get to finish? Is the question of the day because you had like 30 something% a couple hours ago. Okay, let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Um, did you get to
That's
finish?
legitimately what I was doing when I was like, oh my gosh, there's text messages vibrating. There's so many sounds.
Yeah.
Let's stop them.
Hi Pat. Hope you're well and hydrated and all. Thank you. Yes, you finished right on time. Cool, cool. I'm glad I was a little late. I mean, also I was trying to give you time to finish. You know what I'm saying?
It's the being
But yeah.
considerate for me.
Okay, since we're here on my channel, do you want to introduce yourself or you feel like people know you what you are?
Yeah, I can introduce myself, no worries. Hey everybody, I'm Cache. My channel is Shay. However, yeah, with the hobbies, these words right here. Yeah. I be writing, I be reading, I be creating. If that's something you think you could get into, mosey on over my channel and hit that big red subscribe button. But remember, I like all my content is black with a very big old B. So just keep it cute. There we go.
And keep that in mind at all times.
At all
I'm
times.
glad you're okay. Okay, so we finished the last book in the Coin Slot Chronicles, and I have to say, I'm just going to go ahead and be transparent in the beginning. I'm disappointed in the ending. This is my first time reading it. I thought I couldn't remember whether or not I had gotten all the way, but I definitely would have remembered this part that I didn't like. So I know this is my first time reading it. So how did you feel?
I'm right there with you. I this is my least favorite book of it. And like it started where I was like, ooh, I'm scared. Like it just started off the bat where I was like, I wanna know the purpose in this. How is this gonna play out? And then it just felt like it was the most chaotic book of them all. So it was like little for me it was disappointing because every book before, I smiled the entire time. Couldn't stop smiling every time we talked about it. So it doesn't like flaw the whole series for me or anything like that because the first three books are immaculate. I wouldn't change anything about it. But I definitely, it didn't give what I thought it was gonna give me, is the truth. And so maybe I put too much on it. There could be that, but also it just he set the bar high with them first three books.
Oh yeah, I wonder. I don't know if it. I don't think it was our expectations because this book, like we had said, is very different from the other three books in the series. I mean, the previous three books in the series is very different in the pacing. Like Vina said, there were parts. This is the first time in the series where I was confused and felt like I needed to rewind a few of the chapters just because we were getting a lot of information and things were moving really fast. Um, so yeah, I don't know. We'll wait a little bit before we get into exactly what we didn't like, but yeah, I do. I felt like it was confusing in that just the story wasn't moving in the way that it had been moving. I feel like not necessarily anybody acting out of character, but it was a lot of info dumpy while things were moving. I don't know. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that.
I was gonna say I totally agree with you on all points there.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just try to see. I like to talk about
I'm about to say
the
let's get the questions. I
yeah.
love Deidre's questions.
So the pacing, we've already kind of gotten into it, but what did you think of the pacing in
I
this
thought it
one?
was chaotic. Like, and I see that it was like the longer book, so I was like, okay, we're gonna get a bigger, like a chunkier story this time. But it just felt like it was like a lot going on, and I felt myself feeling like I couldn't keep up at times, and I didn't like that.
No, I didn't like that either, and I didn't like. It seemed like a lot of time passed, and he could have, like remember when they were waiting on February 23rd, I think it was, and it was like December or late November, and it was like, and then we got to December, and they jumped to February, and it's like, why didn't you space some of these events and lore out in some of that time? Why did we just jump like that? Um, I don't know. I didn't like that too much. And yeah, I did feel like I couldn't keep up. So I completely agree with you. Didn't understand the point of going to Iceland. Yeah, like I get it because that's where um what happened there. It was like Rua was the not like a care caregiver, but like maybe a benefactor of that like hotel or just a well known person
Yeah,
um to one of the innkeepers. And yeah, what was that about? Because did we
I just
ever get
thought
the
it was
book
a
back
weird take to do for longest. I
for
thought it was a really
longest?
weird take for longest to be that the reason that
Yeah.
you're in Iceland is because it's the longest day of the year, like there. Like so
Oh,
I
I
was
didn't
like,
even
because
put that together.
that
I
was
didn't
like
even
the
put that together.
reason that they were supposed to be there. And I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like did they encourage you to make book four a geography lesson? Because like I feel like it just got more and more outlandish, but like not for great storytelling purposes to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because let's be honest, the flamingo riding back on the elevator while their cell phones don't work is outlandish, but it made
Right.
sense for the
But it made
story.
sense for the story, right? For the lesson.
Yeah.
And
So
that's what I
like,
felt like. That was what was getting me is that I was like, these places, like they feel more like he's using them for clue holders rather than
yeah,
for like lesson moments.
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't.
yeah,
But that was like there was somewhere else they went in one of the first books that we said the same thing. Like they didn't even get to like be in the place. And
yeah.
I don't know. So no, I definitely do. I'm right there with you, Vina.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, we can move on to the second question, which is, what did you think of the plot, story, and the world? I mean, kind of goes with the pacing for me. It didn't serve for the greater story and lesson for me in this book overall because they really didn't spend that much time in any one place, except for like they slept on the way to Iceland. They slept in Iceland, and then Doug told them what he told them while they were there, and then they came back to wherever they went somewhere else. And it was like they didn't even like go outside of the hotel. Like all we know is that the sun was bright. It's like he Googled and saw the first fact and was like, okay, I'm gonna throw this in here. What'd you think?
100% agree there. That's why I said it was like, did they like encourage you to add more countries to this thing? Like, is that what this whole thing was about? Because like, I don't know, it felt weird. The world, okay, so the world for like how you built the characters and New York and that setting, I love that. The plot, I don't know. It felt like this easily could have been either A, take some of this out and thread the lore through the first three books, or make this last book two books and tell the story in a different way. Because it just felt like it was a lot going on. And it felt like a lot in comparison to the first three books. Like it didn't feel like a logical progression to me for how it went.
Because he only aged up one grade between the first book and this one. So, or everybody did. So, like, it didn't make sense for the progression and the chaos to have. Um, and I feel like there was a lot less. I mean, there was scripture in it, but there was a lot less um, prayer in this one. I feel like, or I was missing it. I feel like
Okay,
there should have
I
been
thought I was the
more.
only person. I felt like, and I don't know. I was like, the parents are more active in this one, so I don't know if that's why. Because the scriptures would mostly be because the dad is leaving a note, but I just feel like because like even Miss Gertrude, what she said was a scripture, but it wasn't acknowledged as a scripture, at least not for a while. So like I don't know, it just felt weird. I do agree with Davina though. I like that they actually got to explore and why, because it did seem like there was a chance he was someone who never lived in New York because of how much it was like so many other places other than New York for it to be set. And that did make me wonder, like, what made you pick New York of all places? Then is it just like the cachet behind the name New York? Because I don't get it. But I thought that was fun, and I love the surprise party was cute. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it was like after the surprise party, like at the start of the surprise party, that the book started to fall apart for me. Not even gonna hold you.
Yeah, because we like the little forgotten birthday trope. I don't know if we talked about that on the sprints or just between me and you,
No,
but
I
we
think we
like
talked about
that.
it on the sprints because I was like, like
Okay.
as a kid, you think everybody forgot your birthday and stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. My bad. But yeah, I thought I don't know. It it just didn't like you said, it didn't progress naturally and you know form ahead properly. Because we like it took how many, I guess they went on a handful of trips in the very beginning before he broke his glasses, right? Or am I mixing up like timeline?
Okay, so I feel like the first trip was like almost right away to like, was it Egypt? No, not Egypt, but it was Africa, someplace in Africa for
Yeah.
the coin, and he met Rua.
Oh
And
yeah.
then the next one was the ostriches. They were racing the ostriches, right? And then the one after that was the not Iceland, but the Amazon River. And the Amazon River happened right after the glasses was broke when she was like chasing them home because they jumped in there with Michael.
That's right. That's right. So, and then after the glasses, there was like probably like three more trips, I'd say. And because one of them they didn't get out the elevator because they were under the sea. and nothing was around. And I was like, what a wasted opportunity. I don't know. It was like you couldn't think of like nothing. Hi, Bonnie. Um, I just thought it was such a wasted opportunity that you didn't thought he saw a sea cucumber or something.
And I was telling Deidre, like, it didn't feel the same as like when they went on all those trips, when they were doing trying to clean up Arcade Adventures, and they were having to go to different places to get the lesson and get each word. Like, it didn't feel the same way that felt. So it just felt like it felt purposeless and info dumpy so many more times than in the previous books to me.
No, because they didn't see anything. They were just in the dark. It was a elevator. I mean, the elevator was the submarine essentially, or they just took them to the bottom of the floor. It was such a white room situation. Like I, I was flabbergasted. Like that was when I was like, did it skip? Did I miss something? I don't know. I That trip was forgettable. So I bet you read it and just didn't realize what was going on. Okay. So we've sort of gotten into this. What'd you think of the writing in this one?
Okay, so I don't know how this is gonna sound, but it either sounded like he was a different person when he wrote the last book, or someone had a stronger hand in developing this last book, or some it feels very off from the first three, like just the way in which it tells the story. Like, it had very cute moments, right? Like, so it had moments where it was like, this is why I love the series, and then had moments where it was like, what's going on here?
No,
I don't
I
know.
100% agree. I 100% agree. It was like, okay, I'm ready to get into it. Are you ready to get into it? Okay. There's the part in here where the is it the Tallies? The Tallies are I forget what the assignment is. Like I missed it altogether. But all I know is they were made to argue both sides of the Civil War, basically, in some kind of assignment. Do you remember what the assignment was, Shay? I was so mad at this.
All I
Why?
remember him saying, it had to do something with history, but they didn't say like what specifically. Because I remember thinking, like, if you could have picked any time in history, why did you pick that one?
It was time travel, wasn't it?
No, this was before the time travel conversation. That was the other part.
Oh,
Like,
oh,
this is
oh.
before the time travel conversation. So by then, I was already like, I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going.
Uh, yeah, and they showed up at his doorstep at 5 a.m. Mm, I wasn't really sure what Arcade was supposed to do for them in that situation. I guess just help them. Cause okay, here's the other thing. Do we know if they were black?
So I thought they were Caucasian.
Okay,
I
me
thought
too.
the Tallies. I
So
thought the Tallies were Caucasian. I thought JC was black. The cousins were black, like Celeste. I thought Amber was black. I thought the white girl with the glasses is kind of like just shifty a little bit. She was white. There was a Hispanic. The Hispanic or Latinx was in the wheelchair, and
mhm.
Doug and uh stick, spike, spin, whatever, something with an ST
Oh,
was white.
Scratchy.
Scratchy, right? Like white. Those,
Mhm.
that's what I thought everybody was. So I don't know how right or
Okay,
wrong I was,
so
but that was the impression I got.
their mother allowed two white boys to come in the house at 5 a.m. I don't know. I just thought that was so. I don't know what that was about. It didn't make sense to me. I was like,
And
RK
it's
was
like
like he
been
was
clear
asleep.
that
She
they've
woke him
been
up.
bullied. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was like it was just like I don't know, like
she woke him up to go talk to these two boys at 5 a.m. And I was just like, she even RK was like, why didn't you tell him to come back tomorrow?
like
And she
what
was
am I
like, they
getting
said it
mad
was an
for?
emergency. And I was like, what kind of emergency could it possibly be if all the family is here?
That you didn't require them to tell you at 5 a.m.
What it was at
Right,
5
because like
a.m.
if you show up at my
I
5
had to wake
a.m.,
up my
I need to talk to
son.
your child, it's an emergency. I'm gonna be like, what's the emergency? What's going on, sweetheart?
Yeah,
Tell
let's
me.
talk.
How can I
Clearly, you
help?
need an adult.
Emergency?
Yeah,
Why are we not talking to the police? Where are your parents? Like this,
yeah, yeah,
especially because I know your best friend lives in this house now.
yeah.
So I know it's not
Yeah,
you.
that's the other thing.
I know it's not you. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, why are we talking about the Civil War?
Dirty.
I
And
just it
because
came
the
out of
thing
nowhere
that it
and it
was,
immediately felt icky.
it did. And then
Immediately.
to go, I was like, okay, whatever. And then they went and visit Abe Lincoln while he's about to sign the Emancipation Proclamation. And I was like, why? Because the context of the visit was, how do you make the right decision, even, or how do you argue something when you know people are not gonna like what you're saying or something like that, or like what your standpoint, or I don't know.
Like, how do you
And
stand up for what you think is right when the rest of the world is standing against you type of deal? When, like,
type of
it's going to be like
whatever.
everybody else is against you. Right. Like, I got what you were trying to go for. That's not historically accurate. Let's just start there.
No, it's not. That's where I was going with it. And what I was
Like,
about to say, like, how many other people could have helped make that lesson clear?
so many other people. Because here's the
Why?
thing, not for nothing, you have done really good to like not really have to deal with any type of racism in your books up to this point.
All right.
So you could have easily picked any other example of this.
I don't know why we. I don't know. That was the
Like
disappointing
I just
thing.
that was it, that was disappointing. I felt like I hate this idolization of Abe Lincoln that we do. I don't know. I just felt
Yeah,
like
you
how you
silly.
highlighted this situation in your book tainted your whole series for me. I just
It did in this particular book. It did. It tainted it, and I'm sorry to say that. It really hurts and upsets me to have
I
to say that. But I would feel like I was not being real with y'all or myself if I
if
didn't
I
bring that
didn't
up.
say that. I We were texting each other this morning like messed like I was like I'm sad that this is how we're closing out this
Yeah,
series. Like
yeah,
I hate that this is how it's ending because
yeah.
I like y'all when I say that it's one of the only things I've read this entire summer going through my depression because it made me feel really good. I hate that this is how it's ending.
Yeah, yeah. It
Like
doesn't feel good at
it
all.
doesn't feel good. And
Mm-mm.
like quiet as it's kept, like do I feel like dang, maybe I'll buy an incomplete series for the kids I want to gift it to? Because I
Maybe.
just
I don't know. You have to search that fourth one out on your own.
I know, right? If you really want to find out how it ends, go ahead and take it. But
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
one's
giving
yours.
it to
Get your
you.
mama to buy that one for you, or whoever to buy
I
that
just
one
feel
for you.
be it, and I understand wanting to handle things delicately, wanting to like stay within. age range appropriate levels of conversation. So for me, I feel like if you're not going to tell the truth about slavery, then you should have picked a different topic.
Yeah, how much do you think that that was the publisher's hand? Um, that it went that way, or that was the
Right.
route that
No,
they
so that's
chose?
the other thing. Like, there's a bunch of reasons why, Black History Month, and not even Black History Month, but Negro History Week was the week it was because of Lincoln's birthday, George Washington's birthday, President's Day, and Frederick Douglass's birthday.
Hmm.
Like, because for the time in which it was, which is 1926, right?
Hmm.
Almost 100 years later, we can do better, right? We can say that yes, this man held this position at this time and was a part of creating and signing this document, but this man also said it was not about slavery, it was about keeping the country together, and if he could do it and keep slavery, he would. That is the truth, that is a fact. Like, that's just it. And I just like, I don't know why you would choose to talk about something and not be honest when the title of the book is Arcade and the Dazzling Truth Detector. It was the irony for me.
Okay. Um, I guess we got to know Rua a bit more
Yeah,
in this
yeah, yeah.
one. I can't think of any other new characters. I didn't feel satisfied with um, learning what the parents knew about the token, because I don't remember Arcade ever actually reading his mother's journal that he had on his shelf after knowing it was there. I mean, they acknowledged that it was there and they needed to read it, but I don't remember a conversation or him like reading anything
I
and
don't
having a
remember. I
conversation with
remember
Chloe.
feeling like you could have done better than this for how you drug this out.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, in the beginning, it looked like you were going to like do a very good reveal with them being like, I don't remember seeing any pictures from these places. And like, that sounded really cute when y'all are all like on these cars and talking and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then it was like, it was so rich.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It's so different from the first three.
it's quite different. Like it's it's so different. It's hard to like even talk about it in the context of the other
Right, like
three.
it feels like it's just a different thing. Like, I don't feel the same about it. It feels like a different entity. Even they said they would read it at the end, but they never read it right. And it would have
Mm.
nice it would have been great. Like,
Yeah,
because
why did like they talked about everything else, the goals for the year, and we didn't even get a
right,
conversation about this like incredible
about
gift
dealing with
of the
bullies, about
token.
there we talk about everything, but we're not gonna talk about this thing that was stolen from you while you were giving birth to Arcade that you guys have had since y'all were like middle schoolers. Then, like, what?
Mm. I can't believe
I
that.
just
That's disappointing.
It was so disappointing.
Probably
I
will
was
round
disappointed.
down.
That's what I
No,
said.
I
Like,
know you were too. It's your mystery
it was my
reveal, and
mystery. I
you
was
just didn't
so
ever get that.
excited.
Yeah. Mm. It's disappointing. Okay, I want to move on. I had to hit a cigarette because I was getting a headache behind this. I'm so sad. I'm gonna try not to
Right,
cry.
girl, the way
Clearly,
I
that's
was
the
like,
other
man,
part.
too bad we did this series on YouTube, because the way I
What's
would
my
just want to
dad? Hold
light
on one
one and
second.
be
My
like,
dad just called.
okay. The way I was like, I want to light one and be like, whoo, this took me out, y'all. This took me out. But no, I like I said, I agree with Vina. It would have been nice to speak on it, for them to talk about it. As far as the ending goes, the other endings left me smiling. They left me excited. Um, you know how like I was like, oh, I would love to see them in YA and New A or NA, New A, NA. Which I still would. But I would like the Rashad Jennings that wrote the first three books to write those. Um, I don't know, like it just there was a lot. And I mean, I feel like you wrapped it up, but like it wasn't satisfying. I wasn't content with it is the truth. I wasn't content with it is the truth. Okay, so it wasn't just me. Okay, I legit was like, yo, I know I sped this up to 2 times speed, but I really just cannot. I cannot follow I was telling DJ, I said it felt like it was just so much going on. I was constantly getting lost in what was going on. Like 1 minute we were talking about this, and the next we're talking about Michael and first of all, her and Michael aren't dating in book 3. They're dating in book 4 and break up by the middle of book 4. And then I'm like, there's so much going on. I wonder if he wrapped this up during lockdown for because we talked about that. Books
Oh,
that were written during 2020 and came out in
yeah.
2020 or 2021. Those endings. Those endings. Because wasn't that the thing about White Smoke? That ending was rushed and
It didn't
awful.
give. It was
It did not
terrible. The
give.
ending was
It was
awful for
not.
all of that other shit we had to go through.
Right. Right.
What was the other one that we all hated, but we never did have a live show about it? What was it called?
You talking about the other black
Our
girl?
Sister Soldier.
Oh,
No.
not
Um,
coldest winter ever.
the sequel to that. Dog, what was
Okay.
it? I try to black it out of my mind, but
Life after
that
death?
book.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Life after the
Is it
death.
life after
That's
death?
it.
Okay.
Yep. It was horrible. It should have remained in the drafts, but I think it came out in 2020 because we were all home and all thirsty, and it was terrible. It should have never been published. Honestly, it
Right.
just shouldn't have been published.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel
yeah,
you.
it had. I had sped it up from 1.5 to 1.75, so I re-listened to the last chapter. Yeah. Um, I know this
Mm,
year I've been disappointed by a lot of new releases that they were written in 2020. Yeah. Ooh,
hmm.
ee,
I don't
ow.
think have I read a lot of new releases this year. I don't think I have. I think the only new release I read was the Undead Truth of Us.
Oh
Man,
shit, what am I doing?
not she
Um,
gonna come criticize us again.
don't say. I don't give a.
I don't know what to say
Okay,
because
I
I'm gonna be
don't.
like, girl, I didn't even read
She
the
could
first
come
one.
to
I
me.
like got through one page and I was like, "Ooh, honey, this is not for me.
Oh
This
no,
is not
you wouldn't like that. I liked it because I read it at the time when I was a little bit
when
younger
it
than what
exactly right,
the main character in that book. So I was like, oh, I knew she was fast and doing too much, but it was like, oh, it's Fly
right."
Girls. I don't know if you read Fly Girls by
No, I didn't read Fly Girls, but
Lamar
it's like how
Tyree.
there was a group of girls obsessed with that movie 13 when it came out, and I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"But
yeah,
why?" But it's because it's
yeah,
just little girls doing stuff they ain't got no business, and we have a
yeah.
perverse fascination with that. Like,
Man, okay, so this ending, because I don't want to drag it. The ending, it was very anticlimactic. They never read the mom's journal. They never had a conversation with the parents about the whole, knowing Miss Gertrude
I would say, did they? I don't
and
remember. And did they even have a conversation with Miss Gertrude about why she took the coin? Because I don't feel like I even
no,
remember that.
no,
Because he
no.
said I need to ask her about that.
Yeah, he did. He said that, but
Okay.
that was it.
Okay. I was
Um,
like, I miss it. Because again,
yeah, they were
I had
definitely a product of their time for sure. And like Waiting to Exhale that we read last year, or for let me see,
for
was
Missy
it the
Elliott
Missy Elliott?
readathon this year,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was this year. Yeah, it didn't hold up today. I can see why it was popular
I can
then,
see
but
why it was popular in the 90s, but bruh,
yeah. It didn't hold up today. I didn't like. I was telling my mom that, but
I feel
um.
like we all kind of skimmed to the end. Like I don't even think we all like
Oh,
fully read it all
I
the way
jumped to the
through.
end. I jumped to the
Right,
last chapter, maybe even the last couple pages of it. I don't even think I read the whole last chapter because I was so depressed by the time I got to like 30%
right,
in. Or no, I got more than that. I think I got 50% in. I was like, I can't take this
right. This
no
is not
more.
it.
I was not expecting it to hit like this.
The movie was still dope, but the book was
Yeah, the
like,
movie was still
nah.
great. Yeah, the
And the
movie holds
movie
up.
honestly was because of the cast.
Yeah, the
Not the whole time we were
casting
like,
and the
dang,
soundtrack.
everybody in this. Dang,
Yeah,
everybody in this.
and
Like,
the soundtrack. The soundtrack still slaps to this day. So
oh yeah, big facts.
yeah, it was just anticlimactic, y'all. In my opinion, the
I
ending
completely
was it was rushed. We rushed to get there. A lot of crazy stuff went on, and we got there, and it was like, that's it. That's all.
right.
Okay, I guess that's
Was
how I
not a
feel.
fan. Was not a
No,
fan. I felt unsatisfied.
completely unsatisfied with the ending, but I would recommend 100% with my full chest books one
That's
through
the
three.
first three books. First three books.
Yeah.
I would still say you were missing out if you don't read the first three books. If you be like, I didn't finish the fourth book, I didn't start the fourth book, I'd be like, hey, you're not missing nothing. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't get too many of your questions answered anyway, so it's all good. It's all good.
Right, right,
Um, man, I want to know more about Rua. Like, we could have. This should have been at least one more book, and we should have split some of this stuff.
right.
Like,
Because that's the
it's
thing
too
is like,
much.
do I think you might have done a better job had you made this two books instead of one? Possibly.
Hmm.
It
Mm,
just felt like
I
a
still
lot.
would feel the way if you leave the Civil War
Oh,
and
the
the
Civil
Eight
War,
Leagues and
yeah, no,
stuff
I
in.
definitely
If
axed
you
that
leave
whole
that in there,
storyline.
I'm not gonna like it either way. I don't care if you chop it
Axed
up
that whole
and bring this
storyline.
into college
Right.
years. I'm not gonna like
I'm not gonna
it.
ever be okay with that one.
I don't
It was
know.
just like,
Now,
why? It'd be different if you
yeah, I
chose
didn't.
like an abolitionist or something. Like it just wasn't given.
And
It
then if
wasn't
you're
given.
gonna time travel, why didn't you go to a slave house or something? Like, why did you?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, why wasn't it Harriet Tubman on the Underground Railroad? Oh, because that would have been a little too real, huh? That'd have been a little too real,
Whew,
huh? All right, okay. I'll wreck the first
whew.
three in a heartbeat. For real, for real. You know what
Yeah,
we
for
say?
real.
I ain't got no tea, but if I did, it would be hot. Cause like for real.
I'm
Bruh,
frozen for
okay.
you.
I was gonna say the same thing. You are frozen for me, love. But now you're
Okay,
moving.
but
So
you could hear
cool.
me though.
I could hear
Okay,
you. You are moving though.
okay.
Vina,
Okay.
I wish they would have specified a country in Africa. We specified countries in Asia.
Okay, we did. It was
And
specified a
multiple
specific
countries in
zoo.
Asia. We
Yeah, a
specified
specific
religion.
zoo in a specific city.
Yeah,
Child, listen, it definitely should have been Harriet.
it always should have been Harriet.
Mm, 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 mm. Okay. All right. So,
I feel like,
do
well,
you
bleep,
have
bleep,
any?
bleep, 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 bleep. That's all, folks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell y'all. Them first three books, though,
Yeah. They slap.
they
They slap.
slap. They got me through this summer for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. All right, we want to thank y'all for coming on this journey. Did you have any other? I'm gonna wrap it up because we've been here
Right,
almost
like,
40 minutes.
hey.
So, like, I don't want to say anything more, because
Right,
I
because I
still
don't want to
respect, that,
disparage him in any
yeah,
way. I want to be honest about how I felt about the last book.
yeah, yeah.
Because again, I didn't have a bad reading experience the last 3 months, like at all. Like it's been
No,
a fun
no,
journey, like following these characters and getting to know these characters. It's just like we are talking about beforehand. Like there's a lot that you have to remember about a series. Like the ending of a series is like the ending of any story. The finale, you
yeah,
gotta nail it.
yeah. You
You can
do,
do
you
great
do.
that whole first 80, 90%. That last 10 will kill you.
Yeah, it will. All right, so we thank y'all for going on this adventure with us. It was It was fun. I still had a
It
good
was
time.
fun.
I
I
still had
had
a
a
good time.
great time. I'm so
But
glad I
thank you
got to
for,
do this with you.
yeah, my favorite. Okay, so thank y'all. We're gonna wrap it up. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.
Bye.